Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Ask Julie Ryan Show. I'm Julie, your host, and I'm so delighted you could join us this evening. My intention in doing this show is to provide information, insight, and comfort to help answer life's unanswerable questions from people all around the world. And we hit the jackpot tonight, you guys, because we have Laura Wooster with us. She's going to be with us for the whole show, for the whole 2 hours. Hi, Laura. Welcome.
Hi, Julie. Thank you for having me on. I'm so excited.
Well, I'm excited to have you. When I was starting to write the date today, as I was starting my day, I realized that if you added 11, 11, 21 together, you got the number 7. And the number 7 in the Bible is the meaning for spiritual perfection. And so I thought, well, that's perfect. We're going to have 2 woo-woo girls on tonight talking to everybody. So I figured that would be fun. And the reason why I asked Laura on, you guys, is because I was on her show a couple of weeks ago. She has a show on Unity Radio, and I'll have her tell us about it in a minute. But we started talking, and I just was inspired. I thought it would be so fun to have another medium on the show. And I was telling everybody as we were getting ready to start the show, I said, you guys are getting 2 for the price of free tonight. You know, you get to talk to Laura and you get to talk to me. So what a bargain. I always say I'm free, but I'm not cheap.
Yeah.
I just want you to remember that. So Laura, please tell everybody a little bit about you and the work that you do and where you're located, and just give us a brief overview.
Sure. I'm in New England. I'm in the Boston area in Massachusetts. I'm a intuitive medium, a radio host. I'm also a reverend in the Spiritualist Church. So there's a lot. We can go a lot in that direction. But so I have like you said, I do have a radio program called The Intuitive Life on Unity Radio, and I started that just over a year ago.
Oh, and it was so fun to be on your show. We covered a bunch of different topics, and it's on all my social media. If you want to listen to it, all the links are on my social media at Ask Julie Ryan. How long have you been doing this work? And you consider yourself an evidential medium, right? So what is that? Mm-hmm. And how long have you been doing this? And how did you get into it?
Let's see. Okay. How long do we have here? Yeah. So I've been on this path as a medium for about 17 years. An evidential medium is someone who proves the continuity of life. So there's mental mediumship and there's physical mediumship, but I'm a mental medium. So what that means is that I connect with those in spirit, and they bring through evidence to prove that they are still present in their loved one's life here on Earth. So that's, in a nutshell, is an evenential medium. But that's our main purpose as a medium is to prove the continuity of life. How I got started, nobody really ever, I don't know anybody who grows up saying, I want to grow up to be a medium. I don't know anybody who does that. And that was the same case with me as well. I was a little different as a child. I was very sensitive. I would have dreams that were precognitive, things that would happen the next day. Nothing serious, but just like normal childhood things I would have dreams the night before, and they would come true the next day. And I would know some things before they would happen. And, oftentimes I would know what I get for Christmas, so nobody can really surprise me when I was really little. But as time went on, I kind of suppressed those things. I thought I felt too different. I felt like nobody else could do what I would hear things that nobody else could hear, and I would see things that nobody else could see. And so it just, as I grew up and started to be more aware of that, I was really uncomfortable with it. So I kind of didn't want to hear and see things anymore. I remember being probably about 7 or 8 years old, and sitting in a chair and putting my hands over my ears, so I didn't want to hear anything anymore. And I kept, begging for it to go away. So eventually it did, but around the time that I became a mom, I just to backtrack a little bit, I think something happens when we become a mother. I think sometimes when we're present for, when someone comes into this world from the spirit side, being born, I think that kind of opens up, there's a reason why they call it mother's intuition, right? There's something that turns on in our awareness as a mom, as a parent, that kind of tunes us into the world energetically. And I think that's what happened, was it kind of opened me back up again to energy, to sense spirit. And I really didn't know what was happening at the time that it was starting to happen. But what really got me going was, I had moments where I could sense spirit, but I really didn't know what was going on. But so at one point, and I know I'm an open book, and I will often say that on my radio show, that I share everything, because I do believe that in my story, that there's a lot that a lot of people can relate to. You may not be able to, may not have the same story, but there's a lot that people can relate to in my journey here. But at one point, not long after I had my second child, I was dealing with postpartum depression and anxiety and high blood pressure. And I was only 30 years old. I was pretty young. So to be having that, so I was trying to find natural ways to deal with that. So I started meditating to help alleviate anxiety and my high blood pressure. And so for about 6 months, I did a 20-minute meditation every single day. And then one day, I was having a conversation with somebody, and I started to hear their mother speaking to me, and her mother had passed many years before. So it really rocked my world in a moment. Everything changed, and I had to then decide: is there something mentally wrong with me, and do I need to seek help, or is there something more here that I need to uncover and know more about? And as I researched everything, and synchronicity kind of took a part in that as well, I started to have teachers show up in my life and to sort of validate to me that I wasn't crazy, that there wasn't something wrong with me, that this was perfectly normal and natural to hear the spirit world speaking and communicating, and that's how my journey started.
What's a physical medium versus what did you call it, a spiritual medium? I've never heard that differentiated. Yeah,
so a mental medium, or a mental medium is someone who communicates with or hears spirit through like, for example, I hear spirit clairaudiently and clairvoyantly. They'll show me images and symbols, and I'll hear them in my head speaking. So that's more of a mental medium. A physical medium is someone who it's not that spirit's taking them over. It's more of a blending, and they can channel the actual maybe the voice of spirit coming through. So there's some mediums that can actually channel the voice of the loved ones in spirit. So that's more of a physical medium, where I'm just communicating. I'm receiving clairvoyantly and clairaudiently information from the spirit world, and then I'm speaking on their behalf. So It's slightly different.
Interesting. Well, did you study a certain curriculum?
I did. Just I studied more with spiritualist mediums. So a lot of British mediums. Spiritualism is really huge in the UK. Spiritualism began in upstate New York, and then it got really big across the pond in the UK, especially during the First World War and the Second World War, when a lot of people wanted to communicate with their loved ones. And then now it's starting to become more popular again in the States. But that's what most of my teachers have been spiritualist mediums. So that's been most of my training.
And how does that differ from other types of medium training? And do you believe that everybody can do this if they learn?
Oh, good question. With spiritualist mediums, we tend to, there's a certain way that we deliver evidence. For example, I've got your father here. I see him doing, and he's telling me this and telling me that, and then we deliver a message. So there's different types of ways of delivering messages, but for the most part, there's a certain protocol that we follow loosely that we deliver the message work. I think I think it's a natural thing for us to be connected to the spirit world because we are spirit. Everybody's spirit. When you're walking on this earth, you actually still are spirit, just connected to your physical body. So that never goes away. So I think it's just a natural thing for us to be connected to the spirit world. Do I think that some of us may be more inclined to be able to hear them more than others? I believe so. It's almost like someone who can play the piano. Some are more inclined to do really, really well with that, kind of take like a duck to water.
Okay, well, hold on to that thought for a minute because we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk some more with Laura Wooster, and I'm going to take a drink of water so I stop coughing, and we will see what more she has to say about becoming a medium. Stay with us, everybody. You're listening to the Ask Julie Ryan Show.
Welcome back, everybody. We are so fortunate this week because we have Laura Wooster, who's an evidential medium with us this week. And we were just hearing about how you trained and that you really did have spirit communicating with you as a child. I believe that everybody comes in with the ability, and it's just a matter of developing and then enhancing it. And I've learned that over and over and over again with my angelic attendant training because people take my class and they have, as far as they're concerned, they have no skills. And after the first 2-hour class, boom, right out of the chute, they can do it. And I think it amazes them, and it just kind of blows their mind. But anybody can do this. It's just a matter of learning how to. Exactly. And I, unlike you, did not have dead people chasing me since childhood. Or if I did, I didn't know it, let alone what I would have done with that information. But I started on my journey about 30 years ago doing this. Do you see spirit as well as hear spirit? Do you see things in your mind's eye?
Yeah, I see it in my mind's eye. I'm a clairvoyant. So that would, there's objective clairvoyance and subjective clairvoyance, right? So some people can actually see spirit in the room with them, and that's more an objective clairvoyance. I'm more of a subjective clairvoyant, so it's in my mind, so I can see people in my head. It's really busy in there.
So if I do, so if I do both, does that mean I'm just a schizo clairvoyant, woo-woo girl? I don't know. I don't get into all the terms. I'm like, you connect with spirit, you take it wherever you want. You want to talk to somebody, who you want to talk to. We just connect. You want to tell how close to how close to death somebody is, we do that. You want to scan your dog, you want to scan your liver, past life, whatever. Connect to spirit, go for it. So you're teaching me a few new vocabulary words this evening with all these different terms that you have, because I don't know what they mean.
Well, I agree with you too. It really isn't important. It isn't important what it's called. I just find that sometimes it's easier to explain to people who maybe don't recognize when. I think everybody's having a clairvoyant experience for the most part every single day of their life. When things pop into our head, and that's a clairvoyant experience when they see in your mind's eye, right? So I use that to let people know. To let them recognize that they probably are having psychic moments throughout their day, but they just say things like, I don't know why I'm thinking this, or I don't know why I'm thinking that, whereas actually they're not thinking anything at all. They're just receiving the information. For example, you might have your best friend pop into your mind, whether it be a thought of them or maybe you actually see their face, and then your phone rings and it's them. Right? So that to me is a psychic moment, and they might be having a clairvoyant experience. I think if once people recognize that a lot of the experience that's going on in their, whether they're hearing it in their head or seeing it in their mind, the more people recognize it, the more they can actually use that to make their life better. To open up opportunities.
Oh, I agree.
In life.
I agree. It is guidance coming in from spirit, even to check out this website, go eat a bologna sandwich. Blah. But some people do that. Some people like bologna. And and so I think the other thing, too, is that most of us grow up thinking that thoughts originate in our heads, and they don't. Every thought comes in from the ethers, and it's whatever frequency you're on that's going to determine what the thoughts are that are coming in. And so I always say our thoughts create our reality, which I think goes along with that. And when we're thinking about something, that's when the guidance comes in. Check out this website. Call this person. Look at this book. Google this topic. We're all being led. And sometimes some of us have been through situations where we'll have a thought on something and then we won't follow it, and then we end up regretting it. And that's just our intuition. Yeah. I think we're singing the same tune, and maybe just with some different vocabulary words. There you go. All right. Let's go to the phones, and let's take some callers and see what they have to ask. This is what makes this show so much fun, because we never know who's going to call and what their question's going to be. So let's go to Danielle first. Hi, Danielle.
Hey, how are you? Can you hear me?
Terrific. How are you? Yes, ma'am.
Great. All right. So I got a question.
Where are you located?
For a friend of mine. I am in Chesapeake, Virginia.
Okay. Terrific.
So I have a question to either one of you regarding my friend Val's son, Ryan, which I thought you might get a kick out of because it's your last name.
Yeah, great.
And he
must be a great guy.
Yeah. He must. He's in the hospital right now in Charlotte, and he's intubated, and that's about all I know about his condition. But my friend, his mom is kind of beside herself, obviously. It's not COVID, I do know that. But I was wondering if you could take a look at him and kind of see what's going on with him.
Sure. He just ended up in the hospital? I mean, what happened?
I have none of the details other than he's had a drug problem.
Okay. All right. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect to you, Danielle, and from you to Ryan in Charlotte. And am I on speakerphone by any chance? Do you have me on speaker?
No, I've got you on my headphones, earphones.
Good.
I can take them out real quick.
Okay. I was just hearing some feedback. It may just be on my end. So I'm going to connect in, and then we'll see what's going on. Danielle, he's in phase 7 of 12 of the 12 phases of transition, which means that he is dying at the moment. It doesn't mean he's going to die, but it means that he is in a transition mode. They can go forwards and backwards in that. So I always ask 3 questions. Are you ready to go? Ryan, are you ready to go? No. Are you in pain? Yes. What do you need? More antibiotics is what I'm getting on that. So if he's on a gram-negative antibiotic, he may be on a gram-positive. I'll scan him some more on the break. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Laura, I want you to weigh in and give us your hit on Ryan, too. Stay with us, everybody, and we'll be right back. You're listening to the Ask Julie Ryan Show.
Welcome back, everybody. Before the break, we were talking with Danielle in Virginia about her friend's son, Ryan, who's in Charlotte. I scanned him some more during the break, Danielle, and as I mentioned, he's in phase 7 of 12, which means he's surrounded by angels and deceased loved ones and the spirits of deceased pets. Now, they can go back and forward through the phases, and anybody that's not familiar with the phases of transition, go to my website, AskJulieRyan.com, and you'll see illustrations of them on my website. He has sepsis, is what I'm getting, Danielle. And I want you to write this name down, and I want you to Google this man. You got a pen?
Okay.
Okay.
Yep, I do.
His name's Dr. Paul Merrick, M-A-R-I-K, Dr. Paul Merrick. He's a critical care specialist who has come up with a protocol for sepsis that includes vitamin C, thiamine, which is vitamin B, and steroids. They give him as an IV. He has a hugely successful rate of using this protocol. Sepsis is the number one killer of people in the hospital. Like 600,000 people a year die of sepsis. Yeah. So Paul Merrick, sepsis, and get that protocol to your friend in Charlotte, and that'll help.
Okay.
He's not on the right antibiotic. He's not on the right antibiotic. Laura, what are you getting?
Got it.
Okay, well, I always have to do my disclaimer. I'm not a medical intuitive, so I'm going to stay within my lane. Okay, I don't have a medical background at all. But what I was, and interesting that, on the break as well, I was picking up that there'll be another option to maybe a specialist of some kind that will help increase the choices that they have to help him. So that makes sense that you mentioned Dr. Paul. So that might be the extra help that comes in to help offer more options here to create a healthier environment for him. The other thing too that I was picking up around him, I feel a grandfather around him in the spirit world who is holding space for him. So he must have a grandfather in spirit. Are you aware of that?
Not familiar with the family at all.
Oh, okay. So just you could pass that along to your friend Danielle and just say that there is a grandfather that's around him to help support him and hold space for him. And I know there's others as well, but he seems to be the primary energy that I feel around him right now.
Okay. Now I know from you, Julie, that usually when they're in the phase, it does, but usually in the phase that there's the maternal line is what leads the show, according to your book, correct? So would there be possibly... There
are lots of spirits around him, and it's always the maternal spirit that does run the show, brings in the angels, brings in the other loved ones. I think what Laura's talking about is there's a grandfather in spirit form who's really connected to him and is going to help guide him.
Okay.
Yeah, if that happens.
Okay.
I don't know that he's going to pass.
Definitely pass that along.
I don't know that he's going to pass.
I hope not.
Think... But you can, Danielle, all you have to do is just ask what phase of transition is Ryan in, and you're going to get an answer, and it's going to come in within a second. And then just refer to the illustrations on my site, AskJulieRyan.com, and you'll be able to tell if he's moving forward in the phases or backwards, and let his mom know. And I would send your friend a link to see the phases as well, because that'll give her a point of reference with illustrations. Okay. All right. Well, good luck to him.
Definitely.
You're a good friend.
Completely off topic. Yeah, thank you. My brother is back home, just so you know.
Wonderful. Fabulous. Okay. Yeah. Thanks, Danielle.
So definitely you can go backwards. So thanks so much, Julie. Bye-bye.
All righty. Bye. All right. Let's go to Felice next. Hi, Felice.
Oh, hi, Julie. How are you? Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. I'm great. How are you doing?
Yeah. I'm okay. Is it okay if you can scan me?
Sure. Is there something in particular you want me to check?
Yes. There's a, under my collarbone, like in a circle, I have like these red dots, and I'm wondering if it's skin cancer.
On both sides, Felice?
The red dots are like in a circle. I thought it was shingles, but it's not shingles.
But on both sides of your collarbones, you got two collarbones, one on either side. The energy is going to the right side.
Like an inch lower, right in the center.
In the center. Okay. All right. I don't get cancer. I don't get skin cancer.
Oh, good.
Shingles, no. I get it's a yeast. It's a little yeast. So go to the drugstore and get some yeast cream, antifungal cream. Ask the pharmacist. They sell it over the counter. Put some of that on there. And stay away from fermented foods and sugars, Felice, in the short run. And that'll help with that. Laura, what do you get anything on that for Felice?
I'm so glad you said that, because that was the hit that I got as soon as she described it, that I wasn't getting, obviously, always check with your doctor, but I was feeling more of what you said it was more of a dietary thing, maybe, to a yeast infection of some kind. So that, I'm so glad you said that. I'm like, I wasn't really picking up cancer at all with this. So
No.
I'm kind of, not that I'm a medical intuitive, but I'm kind of on the same vibe here. So
Yeah.
very good.
Well, I don't have a medical background either, except I just invented surgical devices. But, it's just information that comes in. So you're doing the same thing. That's why I was talking about. You connect to spirit, and then you can take it anywhere you want. Felice, go get some antifungal cream, and you're gonna be good as new, girl.
Okay. Have a nice evening. Bye.
All righty. You too.
Okay. Bye, Felice.
Bye. Bye-bye. Okay, let's go to Janet next. Hi, Janet.
Oh, hi. This is Tiffany, actually. That's my husband's mom's phone line.
Oh. Hi, Tiffany.
Hi, how are you?
Terrific. Thanks for joining us this evening. Where are you located?
I am located in New Hampshire.
Okay, so you're up near Miss
Hi,
Laura.
Tiffany.
Yeah, up near Miss Laura. You got a question for us?
I do. I had spoken with you earlier this year, but my husband and I are trying to conceive, get pregnant, and I'm at a point where I'm having a consultation with a endometriosis specialist in a couple weeks, and kind of pushing for a wide excision laparoscopy. But my reproductive endocrinologist really wants me to do IVF, and I'm kind of deciding between the two. And I know that I had a couple spirit babies last time we spoke, and I didn't know if you could either see if they have any messages or give me guidance and, whether I should pursue the surgery or IVF first.
Yes, absolutely. Laura, do you want to go first on this one? And then I'll join.
Yes. So as you were describing those two options, okay, I'm just looking at both of those. So is this the first time you're going to be consulting with this particular specialist?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So where we're going here. So I kind of want you to consult with both of them. And I'm not saying that you're going to go for the surgery right away, but I just feel like the need to check in with him or check in with them, him or her, I'm not sure. Check in with them to look at the option. I don't know if you'll actually go with that first option. I feel like you may actually go with IVF after you investigate with the specialist that you might be seeing here. So I just feel like more information is only going to help you. Okay, so whatever details that they can come up for you, it'll give you some reassurance that IVF may be the one thing that you want to go for first. Okay.
Okay.
I just feel like more information, the better for you. So once you see that specialist, you don't have to go for the surgery, right? It's just collecting information, correct?
That's right.
Right. And I feel like you'll feel more comfortable making the choice you're going to make once you have that information in hand. And then you'll know which direction to go in. I think you'll know which direction you're going to want to go in once you have that meeting with them. So I hope that helps.
Okay. Thank you.
What I got, Tiffany, was I agree with Laura that what I'm getting is that you'll do the IVF first before the laparoscopy. I don't know that the laparoscopy is going to be necessary. While you were talking with Laura, I was zapping on your endo and getting it out of there. And oftentimes when you get on the hormones in the IVF, it takes care of the endo in the short run. So I completely agree with Laura. I think go talk to both doctors, obviously, but right now at this moment in time, I'm getting that you'll most likely do the IVF first, and that's what they'll recommend. The other thing is, remember, future events are fluid. So things that have happened in the past or set things that are happening right now or set things that are happening in the future have a bazillion variables that can affect an outcome. So that's what I'm getting and what Laura's getting right now. And I agree with her. Follow your gut and you'll be led. Just ask Spirit, is it in my best interest too? ... Finish the sentence. You're going to get an answer. It's going to come in within a second. That's going to be your guidance of where to go. So hope that helps.
Yes, thank you so much.
You're welcome. All righty, everybody, stay with us. We're going to take another quick break, and when we come back, we'll see who's next and see what questions they have for Laura and me. You're listening to the Ask Julie Ryan Show. Be right back. Welcome back, everybody. We have Laura Wooster with us this week, who's an evidential medium, and we're tag teaming all of our callers, which I think is really fun. I hope you're enjoying it as much as I am.
Fun.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
our next caller is Lee. Hi, Lee.
Hi, Julie. Hi, Laura, and everybody. This is so exciting.
Wow. Welcome.
Lee,
Where are
can
you
you hear me?
located? Yes. Where are you located?
I'm in Vancouver, BC. Vancouver?
Okay. Terrific. Do you have a question for us?
Yeah, I do. So, I don't know if you remember, Julie, but you did a reading for me in December, just last December. My partner, William, has been sick for quite a while, and he's now in a hospice. He doesn't have a lot of time left, but I'm wondering if he's ready to go, or is he waiting to see his sons? He's got two sons who are coming from different parts of the world and haven't been able to make it yet. William has dementia, and he's been very uneasy, but he appears to be more at peace now. I just would really love to know how he's really doing.
I know when you brought him home, of course I remember talking to you last year, and you brought him home from the hospital when we spoke, right? He was coming home, and you didn't know how long you would be able to care for him. So I'm delighted to hear from you and hear an update.
Thank you. Yeah. So he stayed at home until September 28th is when he went to hospital, and then transferred to hospice a couple of weeks later.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Laura, you want to go first for Lee?
Okay, so your concern is if his sons would make it there in time. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, if the sons will make it here in time, and I really would love to know how much time we have with him.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's possible
I will. Julie may be able to speak to that more than I can. I'm not real strong with giving that kind of information as far as how much time people have. That's not a strong point for me, so I'm going to stay away from that. But what I will say is, because you said he's dealing with dementia, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. The one thing that I always like to say to people who have loved ones who are dealing with that, any kind of altered state, that there's a part of them that knows, and they're very aware of what's going on. So even when it doesn't appear that they are physically, all right. So continue to talk with him as if he understands completely what you're talking about. And I feel like for some reason that's even more important now. So whether you speak in your mind, in almost telepathically, or if you're actually speaking out loud to him, either way, he's going to get the message. So I feel like that's more important as time goes on. I'm just feeling anxiousness around him. So I think if you can talk to him mentally and possibly even out loud talk to him and to calm his anxiousness, I think that would be really helpful for him. And I'll leave it at that. Pass it over to Julie. Okay.
Are you allowed to go see him? Lee, are you allowed to go into the facility?
Oh yes, I've been with him almost every day since he's been there.
Okay. All right. He's in phase 9.
Yeah, I
Lee.
spend a lot of time. He's in phase 9?
He's in phase 9 of the 12 phases of transition. Again, just go to AskJulieRyan.com and go to the 12 phases and you'll see phase 9. The vortex has started to form above his head, and that's going to help his body separate from his spirit. I asked him the 3 questions I always ask, like I did with Ryan, the boy in Charlotte. I asked him, William, are you ready to go? He said, no. I said, are you in pain? He said, no. I said, what do you need? You're absolutely right on his sons. He wants to see his sons. When I asked him, will you wait for your sons? I got a yes. When do you think they'll be able to get there?
Well, one of them is undergoing radiation therapy in Toronto. He's got brain cancer.
Mm-hmm.
And he will be finished his treatment in December. He's planning to come here in December.
I would try and get him there as soon as possible.
Australia.
Yeah, Lee, I would try and get him there. Okay, so get him on the Zoom or get him on a FaceTime with him.
Yeah, we have done that, and we'll try it again soon.
Yeah, when people who are dying say I need to see somebody, then if it's in a different country, get them on the Zoom or the FaceTime. There's a gentleman with whom I was working with his family, and he lived in Athens, Greece, and he was telling me he needed to see his sister before he passed. And I said to his wife, well, can you get his sister to come over? And she said, well, it's a little tough. She lives in Australia. And I said, well, get her on FaceTime or on Skype or on Zoom. And she did, and he died the following day. So I think there's more than one way to see people, and technology makes it so much easier for us.
Right.
At this point.
Right. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we'll do that. We have done it, and
What I was saying to Danielle Lee earlier, just ask what phase of transition is William in. You're going to get a number from 1 to 12. Refer to the 12 phases of transition. That's going to give you more information that you can share with the family. And, if he's advancing, nine's up there. He's getting in the home stretch. And so, it can take a while, and then it can go overnight. I mean, I have seen many people throughout the years go through 6 or 7 phases in a few hours. So that's why the phases are so helpful. Yeah, they're so helpful.
Yeah.
And just ask, what phase is William in?
In
You'll get an answer.
When you looked at him in December, he was in I think it was stage 11. Maybe.
And then he came back down. And then he's come back in again.
He did.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I hope that helps bring you some comfort. And God bless you for going through all this. I know you are one of those earth angels that's been taking care of him. So good luck to you and to him. Stay with us, everybody. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll get more callers and questions. You're listening to the Ask Julie Ryan Show. Welcome back, everybody. We have Miss Laura Wooster with us this week. She's an evidential medium, and we are tag teaming callers and getting them answers from both of us. And so far, we've been pretty much on the same page. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. I think we made a good team.
I agree. All right. We do this show every Thursday night at 8 Eastern, 7 Central, and 5 Pacific. The call-in number, and this is a new call-in number last week, you guys, 667-770-1476. And the access code is 483-620-POUND. That information's in all the show notes, anywhere you download podcasts. It's on my website, AskJulieRyan.com. We post it the day of the show. So it's in the newsletter that I send out, which is a question somebody has submitted online, and then I answer it. So it's all over the place. We make it really easy for you. Be sure when you go to download the podcast, subscribe. And then you'll just get a note that says, hey, there's a new podcast that's available. Usually it's up by Friday morning early. So you can get it the night after, the morning after we do this show. Let's see what else. Be sure and rate this podcast. Just go to ratethispodcast.com/Julie. Again, that's ratethispodcast.com/Julie. And that will enter you into a drawing for a free 1-hour session with me, valued at $200. So that's always fun. You know, I'm a buffet of psychicness. So we can do medical stuff. I can scan your pets. We can talk to your dead grandma. We can do past life stuff. We can scan other people if we have their permission. And so it's always a blast to get to talk to you. And I love it when I get you for a whole hour and we can cover lots of different things. While you're on my website, AskJulieRyan.com, be sure and sign up for my weekly blog if you haven't already. And that's where you can schedule an individual appointment with me. And I'm booked out a little bit. The key is get on my calendar. When you get a confirmation email, there'll be a little button that says reschedule. Click on that periodically and it will show you when earlier appointments become available, because people reschedule all the time, multiple times a week. And every week I have people that do that. They're scheduled out a couple months in advance and then they go, oh my gosh, I checked yesterday and now I'm here. And I moved it up by a couple of months. So check the reschedule button. And then I have 3 spots left for my angelic attendant training class. And we're full for January. We're full for April, July. I've got 3 spots left. And I talked to 2 people today that are interested. So if you're interested, go ahead and get in there and it will rock your world. It will change your life in immeasurable ways. Okay. Our question this week comes from Ryan. And she spells it Ryann. I hadn't seen that before, but I thought that was pretty cool. She may call herself Ryan, but I'm calling her Ryan. So here's what she says. She lives in Richmond, Virginia. Hello, Julie. My mother is suffering from early onset Alzheimer's and has been in hospice for almost 2.5 years. She lost her eyesight, almost all her memory, and barely speaks anymore. She's young, 69, but looks 20 years older than her biological age. My mom hasn't had any quality of life since she went into hospice. She lives in a dark, dingy nursing home where she's being kept alive without any stimulation. Our situation has been very painful because of how long she and my family have been in this holding pattern. I'm wondering if you could scan her and tell me what phase of transition she's in, whether she's ready to pass, and if there's anything we can do to help let her go. Her name is Debbie, and she lives in Deerfield, Illinois. I'm so grateful for any insight you can share. Sincerely, Ryan. And here's my response. Hi, Ryan. Love your name. Obviously, it's mine, so I love her name too. So sorry to hear about your mom. To get some information for you, I first connected with you in Virginia and then from you to your mother in Illinois. At the time of this writing, she is in phase 7 of the 12 phases of transition. This means she's surrounded by angels and the spirits of deceased loved ones and pets. Everyone goes through the 12 phases of transition, regardless if they pass instantly, like in the case of a homicide or suicide, or over a long period of time, including days, weeks, months, or like your mom, years. I asked your mom my standard 3 questions. Are you ready to go? She said yes. Are you in pain? She said no. What do you need? She said to see the sunlight. I thought that was interesting because you had said, Ryan, if you're listening, you had said that she was in a dingy room and she was asking to see the sunlight. I thought that was fascinating. I went on to say it's easy to find out where your mom is in her leaving process. Just ask, what phase of transition is my mom in? You'll get an answer in your head within a second. When the thought is immediate, you'll know it from spirit. It's from spirit. Then just refer to the chart on my website and you'll have an illustration to guide you. When your mom seems to be advancing through the phases quickly, you'll know to gather the family and friends that want to see her before she passes. Always keep in mind as we're dying, your mom and all of us are surrounded by angels and deceased loved ones. Knowing this adds a glorious component to what's usually a heart-wrenching situation, sending lots of hugs your way. So that's from Ryan in Richmond, Virginia, about her mom, Debbie. Did you want to add anything to that, Laura?
Yeah, for some reason, as you were talking about that and answering her question, I kept hearing Rose. But I don't know if and I'm not sure if it was the name of someone named Rose that is being called out here, or if I almost thought maybe someone sent her mother roses, even though maybe her mom can't really take that in right now. But there's some recognition here of either Rose or Roses. So Ryan, if you happen to send your mom roses, you know she got them, or there's some connection to the name Rose in some way. And I feel like for some reason that'll be of some comfort to you. All right. So I hope that helps.
Yeah. Wonderful. Okay. All righty. Well, let's go back to the phones, and our next caller is Ashley. Hi, Ashley.
Hi.
How you doing?
Hey, Ashley.
So I'm not sure how to word this exactly.
Okay.
I've had a lot of people pass. I'm talking like at least one person a year in the last decade. Most recently, my husband. But I keep getting weird signs, and I don't know exactly who they're from or what they're trying to tell me.
Okay. Well, where are you located, first of all?
I'm in Colorado.
Okay. And what can you give us an example of a sign, and we'll work on one just for time's sake?
My brother has a memorial wall in the hallway, and most recently, he's been throwing photos down. There's two that he favorites. One is the photo his ex took that also passed. But his hand is underneath his chin, and you can clearly see my name, which is tattooed on his hand.
So when you say he's throwing photos down, what does that mean?
They just randomly fall. They'll fall in the middle of the night. I'll wake up. They'll be on the floor. I'll come home. They'll be on the floor. I'll pick them up, put them back. A few hours later, they'll be on the floor again.
Okay. All right. Laura, you want to take a stab at that first?
Okay. So do you talk to him often, your brother?
Yes, we were very close.
Okay. All right. So it's okay to say to them, if does it bother you that he keeps knocking those things down? Because if it does, you can say, no, you know what? I got the message. I know you're around. You don't need to keep knocking photos off the wall. You can actually say that to him.
I yelled at him. I told him I don't get what he's trying to tell me. I need more of a sign. And I don't know if it's him just trying to tell me that he's here for me. My husband recently passed, so everything's about my husband. But we're coming up, my brother's 4th birthday without him. We're coming up on my birthday, and I don't know what he's trying to tell me.
My feeling is just he's just reminding you that he's around. I don't think there's anything like earth-shattering that's coming through here, other than the fact that they just want to make their presence known. I would just keep saying, knock it off, and it feels playful to me. It doesn't feel like anything negative. It feels like a very playful energy that he's bringing across here by knocking the photos off the wall. But I would just keep telling him, I got it. Show me a different way. You don't have to keep knocking things off the wall. My sense with this too, so this has been going on, so you said you've lost someone over the last 10 years?
I have lost
every year?
I've lost at least one person every year for the last at least decade.
How old are you, by the way, if you don't mind me asking?
33. I will be 34 in 9 days.
Interesting. Okay. I'm going to ask you something. When you were younger, as a young child, could you see colors around people? Could you hear things? Was there any recognition about that you remember?
The things that you were talking about when you were little were the things that I experienced. And even as an adult, people just look at me weird when I say, I think something bad's going to happen. And they just look at me like, yeah, whatever. And then something bad happens and they're looking at me like I caused it.
Okay, so there's a phenomenon that happens, especially with people who might have.
All right, now hold that thought.
Awareness.
Hold that thought, Laura. We're going to need to take a quick break. Ashley, we're going to hold you over, and we will pick you up on the other side of a couple-minute break. Stay with us, everybody, and we'll find out what else Laura has to say, and then I'll chime in with what I'm getting to. You're listening to the Ask Julie Ryan Show, and we'll be right back. Welcome back, everybody. Before the break, we were talking with Ashley in Colorado about her losing so many loved ones over the past 10 years, and her brother, she thinks, is making pictures come off the wall in the hallway. So, Laura, you were saying before the break?
Yeah, there's a thing that happens sometimes. It's not to say that every time this happens to somebody that this is the case, but my sense is probably that's the reason why I asked before the break was, did you have any kind of an awareness when you were younger? And you did say that you had you kind of knew things when you were younger, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And so, if you think of people in spirit as more like an electrical current, right? So you also have a strong electrical current because you're tuned in psychically or intuitively to these things, right? So it's kind of, you're connecting the circuit. It's, it's a three-way thing going on here with the physical world and you and the people in spirit. So it completes the circuit so that it's a heightened, they're able to move things because of that connection that you have. All right. So it's almost an electrical current. So that to me, sometimes when I hear people talk about things moving in their house, and especially if they have loved ones on the other side, people close, that this might be an indication that I would definitely recommend looking at developing your psychic abilities. This might be sort of the wake up call for you to start tapping into that a bit more.
Okay, yeah, because ever since my husband, I've been through a lot of deaths, but ever since my husband, we're coming up on 6 months in just a few days, in 4 days. I've seen everything completely different. It's changed my whole take on life itself. Everything has changed since him.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so you can't go back to where the person you were before he passed.
But it just feels, it feels different. His death has made me look at death in a way I never have before. I'm completely accepting of people passing now, and before I never was.
Yeah. Yeah, you see life in a very different perspective. And so that new awareness, that new perspective, I think will help you if you decide to maybe explore your spiritual connection a bit more. It'll sort of take you in a direction that you probably didn't expect to at this time of your life. So if you're feeling kind of nudged in that direction, I would recommend that you kind of look at that and see if you can study with somebody or even pick up a book or take a class. There's so many options online now. Study with Julie. She's got a great class coming up. I feel like you're being nudged to look at this a bit more and see what your place in the spiritual world is.
It's crazy because I actually looked into Julie's class.
There
Wonderful.
you go. Did you feel a nudge to do that? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Here's what I'm getting. Here's what I'm getting, Ashley. He's talking about ashes for Ashley. Are his ashes? Did you have him cremated?
They're everywhere.
Okay.
They're literally everywhere.
What does that mean?
I've bred them. We've put them in plants. I took him to California, to Florida. Okay. He's in keychains. He's everywhere.
Okay, perfect. He's saying, he was talking about his ashes, and he was saying that he feels like he has no limits now. And And then he started talking about his ashes. So that makes sense to me. The other thing that that I agree with Laura about, he's just messing with you on those pictures, and it's playful, and it's to keep you from skewing into the lower vibrations of the negative. I mean, how can you go through what you've been through without going through grief and all of that? I mean, certainly that's natural, but he wants you to keep the playfulness going on. And when he knocks the pictures off the wall, the glass is not broken, correct?
No, they're just photos, no frames.
Okay. All right. Well, they're not being destroyed. He's messing with you. I agree with Laura, but it's to make you laugh. It's to keep you from being in the negative. Like you said, you would know when something bad was going to happen. And when you said that you have a new perspective on everything, I think that goes right in line. Have you read Angelic Attendants yet? My book?
I've been trying to with the young kids. It's hard to do anything.
Yeah. Well, if you email me, ashleyjulie@AskJulieRyan.com, I'll send you the audiobook version, and you can listen to it. You can listen to it while you're folding laundry, making dinner, whatever, making beds, whatever. And that'll be easier, perhaps, to get you through. So Julie@AskJulieRyan.com, email me. I'll send you a link to download a free version of the audiobook, the Angelic Attendants. And I believe it's really going to give you some comfort. And so I'm happy to do that too. All righty. Hang in there, girl. You are so welcome. Hang in there. Okay. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Ashley.
Okay. Let's go to Carol next. Hi, Carol.
Hi. I'm Donna. I'm Donna from Lexington, Kentucky.
Hi, Donna. It says Carol on my dashboard. Maybe you have an alias.
I know. That's my last name.
Oh, okay. There you go.
And everybody calls me Carol. It's kind of funny, but listen, I'm a big talker, and I'm trying not to do that. But I'm so grateful, and I feel like I hit the jackpot. So thank you, ladies, so much.
You're welcome. She's thanking us up front. Laura, that's a pretty good deal.
We haven't even done anything yet.
You got a question for us?
Because I'm very grateful. Yes, I do. Gosh, I don't know where to start. I escaped death 20 years ago, and ironically, I was septic, intubated, and a lot of other problems, and I miraculously survived that. But I have a lot of issues. I've been chronically sick for 21 years and have an arthritic condition, and I live in chronic pain. And I love life. I want to live life, and it's been very difficult.
All right, we're going to hold you over the break, and when we come back, I'm going to scan you over the break, and Laura, you do the same. And then when we come back, we'll let you know what we come up with. Stay with us, everybody. You're listening to the Ask Julie Ryan Show, and we'll let you know what we come up with for Donna when we come back. Welcome back, everybody. Before the break, we were talking with Miss Donna in Lexington, Kentucky, and she's got a bunch of health issues going on. So I will do what I came up with first. I scanned you during the break, and then we'll get Laura's input here. Lots of inflammation. Inflammation looks like red fog on body parts. Donna, I used anti-inflammatory energy, which is a royal blue color, to get that calmed down. Inflammation, most of the time, unless you hurt yourself, comes from the gut. It's a gut imbalance. So email me, Julie@AskJulieRyan.com. I want you to do a gut biome test, which is a fancy word for a poop test. And you could do it at home. You don't need a doctor's orders for that. It's going to tell you what the ecosystem is in your gut. But more importantly, based on what those findings are, it's going to tell you, here are your superfoods. Here are the foods for you to avoid. Here's everything else. Eat this a lot. Eat this a little. So do that. The other thing is on the arthritis, what I did was I cleared out the arthritis in your joints. It looks like corrosion that you'd see on a battery that's exploded, or corrosion that you'll see sometimes on a pipe that has a little bit of a water leak and it looks crusty, that crusty white stuff. It's like a calcium deposit. I cleaned that out. I took your skeleton out of your body, dipped it in a big vat of stem cell energy, which is a light amber colored gel, has sparkles in it because it's woo-woo, you gotta have sparkles. And it has a watery consistency. It reminds me of Dippity-Doo hair gel from when I was a kid, and put your skeleton back in your body. There was a vortex that formed above your head, beneath you, on either side of you, front and back of you. That is going to regenerate the cartilage in between your joints, so that'll give you some relief on that. This is all coming from your gut. You get your gut healthy, this is going to go away, I believe. So, Laura, what are you getting?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I don't know how much I can add to that, but I was picking up on the inflammation, like major time. Like there was a lot of inflammation around there. Was this an event that caused this 21 years ago? Was there an accident or something? Okay.
I was exposed.
Okay.
I was exposed to some pesticides.
Oh, okay. All right. Yes, I knew there was some. I could feel it was almost like a switch going off. So I wasn't quite sure what this was that caused this. So that would make sense if it was a sudden exposure to something here. So the inflammation is there.
It was.
So and the other thing I was picking up around you physically, it's almost like your spine is like a zigzag to me right now. So I don't know if the pain is more so on one side of your body than the other, so it's causing you to sort of be out of whack with how you move and how you walk and how you hold yourself upright. But there's a sense of kind of feeling like a zigzag with you. So does that make sense? Are you finding that you can't walk straight up and down because of the pain that you're holding in your body right now?
No, it's not. It's from head to toe all over, and it's recently attacked my vision.
Oh, jeez.
Okay, but you can stand up straight though at the same time.
Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Okay. I look like a picture of health.
You do.
Oh.
Okay. Like,
yes, I do.
It feels uneven. It feels uneven to me from one side of your body to the other. So that's why I kind of feel like that zigzag pattern for some reason. You feel it's all over your body.
Yes, but I have scoliosis, so my spine is curved.
There you go. There you go.
There we go.
All right.
All right.
Donna.
So another thing, and
go ahead, Laura.
The one thing I will add to this, I love what Julie suggested to you for your gut health. Are we going to break? So I wanted to just add one quick thing.
No.
Okay?
We got another minute. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. So what I would recommend, and it's going to sound really woo-woo, but here we are. Okay. So, as you're doing what Julie's recommending, also thank the pain thank the awareness that the pain is giving you. I know that sounds kind of weird to thank the pain, but when the pain comes, just address it and say, thank you for making me aware of what I need to change in my body, but it's time for you to go.
Okay.
Good.
All right? And
well, and I've said this has been a blessing and a curse.
Mm-hmm. Donna, the other thing is consider scheduling an hour with me, and we can do a deep dive.
Okay.
The inflammation's the biggest thing, and then we can uncover that, and we can get a whole bunch of this other stuff. I was getting the scoliosis as well when you were talking the zigzag, because I had you on my radar, so we can work on that. Yeah. So schedule an hour with me, Donna, and then we'll do a deep dive, and we'll see what we can do to help you heal. All righty. Thanks for calling. Hope you feel better.
So much. God bless.
All righty. Let's go to Denise next. Hi, Denise. Hi, Denise. Are you there? Hello. Okay. Well, let's go to Diane then. Hi, Diane.
Okay. Hi. How are you doing?
Terrific. How you doing?
Good. I'm calling from lovely southern New England,
Wow,
Connecticut.
Southern New England.
Wonderful.
Just the south of me. Yeah, there you go.
we got all these
Julie,
we have all these New Englanders here right before Thanksgiving. You guys can represent the Pilgrims. Or a couple weeks before Thanksgiving.
There you
so
go.
That's a good thing. Yeah. Well, wonderful. You got a question,
Great.
Diane?
I do. I have a son with autism, and he has an autoimmune condition where his immune system has an aberrant reaction to strep. And when it flares, it manifests itself in OCD symptoms. And I think he's having a flare now. Could you scan him?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. All right. What's his name, Diane?
His name is Mike.
Mike. Okay. I'm going to ask his permission before I scan him because, I think it's an invasion of privacy to scan somebody without their permission. So I'm going to connect to you, Diane, and from you to Mike. And I'm going to ask his permission. Here we go. Here comes my laser beam from Sweet Home, Alabama, heading up to Connecticut. All right. Got you. Mike, I'm talking to your mom. Is it okay if I scan you energetically? He's saying yes. Good job. I don't know if you set that up, but he's saying yes. All right. So shooting energy. I'm seeing pus in his tonsils and in his left knee, Diane. Has he had an issue with strep for a while?
He has, yes. He when it flares, it's not traditional sore throat, but his OCD conditions really skyrocket.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So what I've done is I've applied anti-inflammatory energy, first of all, and then there's antibacterial energy. Anti-inflammatory energy is royal blue. Again, inflammation looks like red fog on body parts. And then the antibiotic energy is a kind of a fuchsia color, more pink than purple. And so I've done that. He's got that in his knee, his left knee, and it can lodge places.
Okay.
That strep can. So he goes on antibiotics when it flares up. What do you do with him?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
Antibiotics.
Have you heard of colloidal silver?
Yes.
Liquid colloidal silver. Have him gargle with that. Put a little bit in a cup, a little bit of water, have him gargle with it, and then that'll help knock out the bacterial infection. The other thing is it's really important to have him on nystatin. Are you familiar with nystatin? Nystatin. Yeah. Every time he goes on antibiotics, be sure he's on nystatin, which is an antifungal, because every time he goes on antibiotics, it whacks his immune system because it whacks the gut. And people say, well, I'm just eating yogurt. Well, they're usually eating yogurt with some fruity flavor. It's full of sugar. It's just feeding the yeast. And so do fermented things. So be sure when the doctor orders antibiotic, be sure you get them on nystatin as well. So that's my input. Laura, what do you got? What you got, girl?
Yeah, it's interesting. I recently connected with two people who had a daughter who was dealing with something similar to this, and what it ended up being was pandas. I don't know if you've ever heard of pandas.
Yep, that's what my son has. That's what my son has.
Oh, okay. So that has been diagnosed. Okay, great. That's half the battle is having that diagnosed. So I guess it's really difficult to diagnose that sometimes. There's more awareness coming up around that, and it's important to have that diagnosed. I would search out, are you part of any support groups with pandas at all?
Not really, no.
Okay, I would, if you email me, I'll connect you, I'll send you a website. I don't have it off the top of my head, of a support group for this. There's an organization that helps with this. Just email me to my website, lauralwooster.com, and I will send that to you, okay? It's important to get the support. Okay.
I work with people with pandas all the time. It's a gut biome problem. It's a gut biome problem that can be cleared up once you get the gut biome cleared. So these diagnoses like pandas that, oh my God, you're going to have pandas for the rest of your life. Is there anything you can do about it? No. It's if you get your gut biome healthy, most of these quote autoimmune diseases miraculously go away. Yeah. It's just that the doctors haven't been trained on it because they're trained by Big Pharma. Exactly. And Big Pharma wants to create customers for life. So what's happening with Mike is he's getting strep, he's getting antibiotics that wax his gut, lowers his immune system. He gets sick again. They put him on antibiotics, wax his gut. He's on this hamster wheel. You got to get his gut healthy. So I would do that. And email me and I'll send you the link to the gut biome test that I talked about earlier, Diane. And we'll get him on the road to health. Thanks for calling. All right, everybody, we've got another break. When we come back, we'll get more callers on and see what their questions are, and Laura and I will answer them. Welcome back. Let's go to the phones, and our next caller's Nancy. Hi, Nancy.
Hello.
Hi, Nancy.
Hello? Hey, Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
I was trying to take you off the speaker. Hey, how are you?
Okay, terrific.
Just a minute, I'll take you off the speaker. Oh my goodness, I'm surprised. Thank you for taking my call.
You're welcome. Where are you?
I live in California.
Okay.
In California.
What part?
And like Central California.
Okay.
Around Sacramento, that area. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a medical question, but everything that you've been talking about, ability, I've had since a child, so it's been really interesting to me. And I haven't always understood it till later in life, but as a child, I could feel lots of things and energy. So I love hearing about it. But my question is a health question, and I'm having trouble with my blood cell count, my white count, my red cell count is high, and my hemoglobin is high, and my hematocrit is high. So I don't know. I was hoping that you can maybe scan me and figure out something.
What are your doctors telling you about it?
I just got my blood work, and I'm not going to see them until December. So okay. They haven't said anything. I just was wondering if you could see something that I could be aware of.
Yeah. Laura, did you want to go first on this one? And then I'll wrap up in the end.
I'm not really picking up anything with her at this point. Nancy, can I ask you, are you postmenopausal?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, the only thing I'm picking up is, I feel like, because do you think your iron is too high?
Yes.
Okay, is that what I was half listening, so I was tuning into you, so I apologize. I kind of do that sometimes when I'm tuning in. I tune out what you're saying as I'm tuning into your energy. So you may have said that, yes. I didn't hear it. I think that has something to do with it, and so I would see what can they do to alleviate that. It just feels like your iron's too high and it's causing other issues. That's what it feels like. What that exactly is, I don't have medical terms for that, so I'm just giving you a sort of a raw read of what I'm picking up around you. But I'll hand this over to Julie.
Okay. What Nancy, are you on medication?
Yes, for diabetes and high blood pressure.
Okay. All right. You're having a reaction to your medication is what I'm getting. And it's prescription medications I also get. Do you take herbs and vitamins and stuff like that?
Sometimes I do, yes.
Yeah.
Lately I've been doing zinc and vitamin D.
Okay, good. C, too. C is really important. Get the ester C or something that's buffered so it's easy on your tummy. I get it's an issue with medication. Here's what I want you to do. Go to the Google, put in the name of your medication, and put NNT after it. That stands for number needed to treat. That's how many people need to take a medicine in order for it to help one person. The higher the number, the less effective the medicine. That's number one. So you'll know what kind of efficacy that medicine has. Number 2, read what all the side effects are and read what the contraindications are with different medicines and different herbs and drugs and vitamins. Along the iron thing, you may be taking a multivitamin that's got a whole bunch of iron in it, and you can just switch to one without iron, something like that. So that's what I'm getting along those lines. Consider scheduling an appointment with me, and we'll have an hour to do a deep dive. The creatinine level, that means your kidneys are really filtering through a lot of toxins. That's what that is. So I think, again, there's contraindications from the meds that you're on. So I hope that helps.
Okay. And
hope you feel better.
Thank you very much.
All righty. You are so welcome. All right, Miss Laura, this has gone really fast with us tag team and everybody. I so appreciate you being on tonight, and it makes it really fun to see what you have to say. Please tell everybody how they can get in touch with you, how they can listen to your show and get in touch with you.
Sure. The best way to get in touch with me is through my website. It's laurawooster.com, LauraWooster.com, Laura Wooster. And my radio program is on Mondays at 3 p.m. Eastern, on unityonlineradio.org. And it's called The Intuitive Life of Laura Wooster.
And you released that as a podcast as well, right? So if somebody doesn't get it live, they can get it on playback. Mm-hmm. Okay. Terrific.
Oh, yes. Yep. Absolutely. You can get it through Apple, iTunes, everything. Yeah.
Yeah. All the main podcast download places. Also, you tour sometimes, right? You speak around the country.
Well, maybe you're picking up on something. Not typically, not yet. Hopefully someday. No, I do some live events, mostly in the New England area. Tomorrow night, I'm doing a mediumship gallery in Quincy, Massachusetts with 2 colleagues of mine. Next week, I'm doing a mediumship event with John Holland in Massachusetts. Again, I think that's sold out, though, so there's a wait list for that. But then I'll be offering another one in January in Massachusetts. So at this point, it's mostly in New England.
And when somebody comes to one of those, what goes on? You just call on people in the audience, and then you say, "Okay, your grandma is standing there next to you, and her name's Shirley, and she wants you to make her gingerbread cookies for Christmas."
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. And this one that I'm doing tomorrow is with the spirit artist, and we were talking about the different types of mediums. This colleague of mine, Rita Berkowitz, she's not only a medium, a mental medium, where she actually delivers the messages from the spirit world, but she actually draws the people that she sees clairvoyantly in her mind. And so you could be connecting with your loved one in spirit, and while those messages are being delivered, you're seeing their image kind of form in front of you on her drawing pad.
Wonderful.
Fascinating.
Wonderful. All right, everybody.
Yeah.
Have a wonderful week. Meet you back here next Thursday. Check out LauraWooster.com. Sending you lots of love from Sweet Home, Alabama. Mwah. And up near Boston, too.
Thank you, Julie.
Thanks for joining us. Bye, everybody.
Be sure to follow Julie on Instagram and YouTube at Ask Julie Ryan, and like her on Facebook at Ask Julie Ryan. To schedule an appointment or submit a question, please visit AskJulieRyan.com.
This show is for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be medical, psychological, financial, or legal advice. Please contact a licensed professional. The Ask Julie Ryan Show, Julie Ryan and all parties involved in producing, recording, and distributing it assume no responsibility for listeners' actions based on any information heard on this or any Ask Julie Ryan shows or podcasts.